Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Ravens Call. Again, I'm your host, Tyler Cameron. If you haven't already or don't know what the podcast consists of, go to my intro video explaining the podcast, or you can just follow along with each week. We're now onto the divisional rounds, going into the championship round next week. Should be very interesting going forward. This podcast is available on Spotify, YouTube, as well as Apple Podcasts. You can find links to all those in each of the streaming services, or look up the Ravens Call podcast on Instagram. On that note, hope everyone is having a great Wednesday and ready to listen to some exciting NFL and Baltimore Ravens news. All right, so some good games, huge upset uh, going forward, but let's get into it. So, first game on the docket was the Texans and the Chiefs. Now, this was probably a terrible game. I didn't really watch it. I can't really watch Chiefs games, so to speak, because the Chiefs do nothing to say that they're the best team. And, you know, for them, if they win it all, good on you. Don't really believe that you're worthy of the title, not even willing to be in the AFC Championship game. They've been facing teams that they just shouldn't be a part of it. Like, if they had to run through some of the tougher teams, then yeah. The Texans, no, the Texans weren't it. I knew this going in, but there was a lot of penalties in the game that really showed that there is a huge and big fine line that the Chiefs do have a lot of help going forward when it comes to the refs. And I'm not saying that's why they won the game. No, no way in shape or form. But there's a couple times when certain drives lead to points, and they could have been stopped before the points if the penalty was placed correctly. But I digress. I felt bad for the Texans because it was inevitable for them. But CJ Stroud had a pretty good game, 19-28, 245 yards, sacked 8 times, but still was able to hang in there. Mixon had 88 yards, a touchdown. Nico Collins, 81 yards receiving. Pretty good game from them. They tried their best, but they're not going to do anything against the Chiefs. Mahomes, 60-25, 177 yards and a touchdown, average. Hunt, average at 44, and Travis Kelce had another monster game. 7 receptions, 117 yards and a touchdown. It's just annoying because, like, if you look at this thing, there were 5 players that didn't catch the ball. Mahomes barely threw the ball. They barely ran because they just kept getting whatever they could. I mean, let's check the penalties on this game. 8 penalties for 82 yards, 4 penalties for 29 yards. That's not shocking. It just angers me because it's like the best team, and I know the best team doesn't always win the game. It's the more experienced team. It's just the one that has things go their way. But it seems to me that the best teams have never won against the Chiefs, and it will continue to be that way because you have to play perfect. You have to play to where there's no way that a ref could throw a flag there. There's no way that they can flop. Um, and you have to contain Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis Kelce is their main dude. I mean, D Hop's okay, but you this team's not really that good. If you look at the offensive defensively, they're not the best teams at all. They're not even top 10 in any of those. The defense could be making a case, but we'll see next week on that. But it was a terrible game for both teams. Uh, really kind of disgraceful, in my opinion, that the Chiefs are just getting handed these things, and they're trying to discredit and make him better than Brady, and it's like he'll never be because obviously, I'm not much of a Tom Brady guy. He took a lot of wins and Super Bowl chances away from the Ravens, but man was a dog. Man didn't get bailed out a lot by the refs. He earned his wins, and he beat Mahomes twice in the playoffs as a Patriot and in the Super Bowl. So again, on that, on to the upset of the playoffs so far. I mean, it's just amazing because it's like Detroit was able to dominate offensively, but the careless mistakes of Jared Goff having 3 interceptions and a fumble lost, those 4 turnovers, the defense could do nothing for Detroit. I mean, Jaden Daniels, 22 of 31, 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. Amazing. We're able to run the ball pretty well with Daniels and Robinson. Yami Brown still cooking. Scary Terry got a touchdown and 87 yards. So really good game from them. Defensively they had a touchdown. They were clicking. I mean, Jared Goff just didn't look like himself, and you got to in the playoffs. You know, but huge game from Gibbs, 105 yards and touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 137 yards receiving. Like, it's a good game from Detroit. 31 points is a lot, but you know the Commanders were just able to score at will. And the Commanders are going on to the first NFC Championship game in a while. We'll go over all the games. When I talk more about the Ravens, we're going to talk more about in season and what should we be doing in the offseason because the Ravens did lose. It was in heartbreaking fashion. I'm still not fully recovered, and I don't think I will be for a while. But hats off to Bills Nation. They won the game not because they were the better team, but because the Ravens shot themselves in the foot too many times. But I do want to say that, yeah, I don't believe that the Bills should have won the game. I don't care at this point. I care that the Bills get to the Super Bowl. The Bills do deserve to be in the Super Bowl. But if you don't win against the Chiefs, then there was no point in you winning that game. You should have just lost. Because the Ravens are the team that the Chiefs fear the most. Because the Ravens, if they play like we normally do, where we're not beating ourselves up and we just play our type of ball, we're the best team. Now you guys did beat the Chiefs, but now you got to go to them and play against them. So I'm really hoping that you guys get in the Super Bowl. I really am. I really think that you guys deserve it. If it's not us, it was you. So really rooting for you there. But on to the Eagles Rams. I was shocked that it was even this close. Um, eh, you know, I don't want to hear that Jalen Hurts, being a Super Bowl quarterback, if he wins, is really good because he threw for 128 yards. They, you know, 15 to 20, yes, but they were simple little checkdowns. He didn't do anything. I mean, he was sacked 7 times, and net average of him throwing was 65 yards. It's like that's terrible, you know. He ran for 70 yards. He is what Lamar Jackson used to be before he could pass. So I really don't want the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I like it for Saquon, but I don't think the Eagles are even a good team. They're 14-3, yes, but their defense is their main vocal point. They used to just when they went to the Super Bowl last, they killed it running the ball, passing the ball. They were just flawless on offense and defense. But now it's like their defense is there, and then they can run the ball. That's it. They can't throw. So, um, it's against it. And the reason I'm saying this is because they faced a secondary that isn't really good. The Rams secondary is a joke. So that's why you face a team that has some good secondary play, you're going to get cooked. Put on to it. Okay, Matthew Stafford, 26 of 44, 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, 19 carries, 106 yards. Rushing. Cooper Kupp finally showed up with 61 yards. Puka Nacua, 97. Decent game from them, but just couldn't put up enough points to do that, especially when they're able to run the ball as effectively as they could. Saquon Barkley, 205 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Take away Saquon, this team doesn't even make it to the playoffs, but that's why Saquon Barkley is a highly valuable player. Offensive player of the year for sure. There. Really good game. Rams losing 2 fumbles really cost them. So Good win from them. We're gonna go over to the Bills and Ravens game. It hurts to go over it because it's like if you look at the stats and you watch the game, there wasn't anything special that the Bills did. Uh, Josh Allen ran for 2 touchdowns. Ray Davis ran for a touchdown, but they were in short yardage. They didn't really pass the ball that much. Um, the run game was here and there, but not as good. They just were making plays off of the Ravens' mistakes. When you have an interception, 2 fumbles, and a drop, it's crucial. And Lamar, he threw that pick, thinking that he knew what their defense was going off of, but he thought he was going to squeeze it in there and didn't, trying to make a play out of nothing, fumble the ball and put them in position to where they were able to score a touchdown. And the fumble gave them a field goal. So, they got 10 points off of our turnovers, you know. And for us to have 3 turnovers and to be as close as it is, hats off to the team at the end. But again, you cannot have 3 turnovers and expect to win the game. You cannot have 3 turnovers, especially against as good of a team as Buffalo is. You cannot have 3 turnovers and win the game. You almost had it. And I want to give a special shout out to Mark Andrews. He did what he could for the team to win the game. He fumbled the ball. Yes, he dropped the ball at the end to get us that 2-point conversion. But again, we should never have been in that position, you know? And he's human. He's going to make mistakes. This man has carried us a lot as of late. He's had a touchdown almost every single game since week 4 or whatever. But I remember at the start of the season, especially in fantasy purposes, he wasn't there. Everyone was saying he's washed, he's terrible. He's just not out there as much. Likely he's out there. It's because he's a selfless player. He's over there blocking. He's over there making sure everything's good. And then we started getting to those 2 tight end sets, and Likely and Andrews, they're bang bang either way on that. So us making those careless mistakes are the thing that's so crucial, because when it comes down to our offense not showing up or defense not showing up, that's never the case. It comes down to costly mistakes, and certain playoff teams don't make them. Buffalo did not make any of those. That's why Buffalo is moving on. Do I think that their showing versus us shows them they can beat the Chiefs? No. But I have to believe that the Bills can do it. If the Bills don't do it, then they should have just lost to us. Because we know we can beat the Chiefs. I know we can beat the Chiefs. I don't think that the Bills can. Their defense isn't as good. Their offense isn't as good. They had home field advantage, everything along the lines, and they couldn't throw. They could barely run the ball. You know, so I'm hoping that their offense switches and just puts up 30, 35 points on the Chiefs and wins and goes to the Super Bowl. That would make me happy because it's not the Chiefs. That was the main goal of this season. Was if my team's not in it, I don't want the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl, because knowing that if we played the Chiefs in the wild card, in the divisional, in the championship, we would win. We would win. And I don't think the NFL wanted that either, because they know what their agenda is. Their agenda is to get the Chiefs to another Super Bowl, to hopefully get them to back to back to back, because no one's ever done it. So it kind of discredits all the other ones. It discredits Tom Brady, because the NFL didn't really like Tom Brady as their star player, and Mahomes, they like him because now it's Mahomes, it's Taylor Swift. They're bringing in a shit ton of revenue to where it's making the NFL money. I hate how greedy they've become, because Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, we're all putting in this talent and we're getting nothing out of it because we're just chopped liver because we don't bring in as much revenue as they do. So, but on to the game. Lamar Jackson, 18-25, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw that pick. He was able to throw the first touchdown, get the second one. It was an amazing touchdown to Likely. Derrick Henry, 16 carries, 84 yards, touchdown. Likely 73 yards, touchdown. Bateman, touchdown. Mark Andrews, 61 yards receiving. Sorry. 2 fumbles were from Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. It is what it is. Shakir had 67 yards. James Cook had 67 yards, and that's about it. They weren't really very effective against us, but we had our chances. We blew it. On to next year. I'm very proud of this team. I know this is not the outcome we wanted, but I'm still very proud of this team with all the adversity we had of getting in the kinks of new offensive linemen, getting Derrick Henry rolling, defense switching a gear after week 11. The defense just switching the gear after week 11 is just amazing to me. They played their hearts out tonight. Definitely some questions going into the offseason, which we're going to talk about here in just a bit. But yeah, very excited for what is going to happen in the future. I really hope that we're able to stay as healthy as we did, keep a lot of the same guys that we did, so we are able to make a bigger run next year because, I think this how this team is playing and how we are poised to we have Derrick Henry. We have a good rushing team in Justice Hill, Keontae Mitchell. We have that. Lamar's even on a bigger tear now. Um, we didn't even have Zay Flowers, which could have been effective. Likely's playing amazing. Bateman breakout season. Mark Andrews will be back with a bigger chip on his shoulder. So, very excited. Very excited to get Brandon Stevens gone. If we sign him, I'm gonna be pissed because he's been flat out terrible this season. He's a liability. We need a better corner. But yeah, so that is it for the NFL. That is it for the NFL. We're going to go on to talking about the Baltimore Ravens and talk about like offseason, what I'm looking forward to, and so to speak from there. So now on to the team you know and love. Not the season we wanted, but take what you can get. The Baltimore Ravens. All right. So now on to the Baltimore Ravens. We're gonna go off of what we have um for some free agents and see who we want to keep, who we don't. And then we'll kind of go over what we have for who we want to get for next season. So this is from the Baltimore Beatdown. Currently, the Ravens are projected to have about 17.1 million in cap space, and we have 22 free agents. So let's go over those. So Marcus Williams definitely going to leave he's not going to be part of this team. Ronnie Stanley needs to be back. Hoping to get him back there for that. Davius White, no. Maybe our O-line, but I don't know about that. Nelson Aguilar, no. Patrick Hard, definitely. Harrison, maybe. A lot of there. Brandon Stevens, absolutely freaking not. Do not. I repeat, and I'm saying this really loud into the mic. Do not come back to my freaking team. I don't want you. Leave. Freaking terrible all season. You are our weakest link. Nate Wiggins, who's a rookie, played better than your ass. So I'm so happy you're leaving. Tyron Wallace, I'd like back. Restricted, exclusive free agents. Definitely want Ardarius Washington back. He's going to be a really good safety for us. Now on to, let's look up some free agents in 2025. So we got T. Higgins. Um, is the number one guy. I don't think he's going to be leaving uh, Bengals. Trey Smith for the Chiefs, maybe. I would love Javon Holland, but right now it's kind of tough because we're not going to have the market that we're going to have. But it'd be really nice to have Holland and Washington because then we can kind of get Hamilton playing where he wants to in the essence of kind of that middle back that he can go play man-to-man coverage on like a Travis Kelce or something like that. Uh, Chris Godwin, another good guy, but I don't think we're going to get him. Khalil Mack's still past his prime for us. DJ Reed, not really. I don't think we need him. Amari Cooper, no. Ronnie Stanley, we're definitely going to get back. Sam Darnold, ooh, I feel bad for him. He's not going to have his best thing. Josh Sweat's probably going to end up with the Eagles. Do not want Diggs. Reddick could be good. This is if I was to get anybody for me, I'd get Travarius Ward as a corner for us. I think that he would be really good for us. Um, having him, Wiggins, and then Humphreys playing the slot would be amazing. D-Hop, don't need him. Shul Douglas, don't need him. I'm just kind of going through. Greenlaw would be nice, but I don't know if he just kind of is a little sluggish as of late. Fields, I think, should be the quarterback for the Steelers. I don't think that, for me as a Ravens fan, I was like so happy when they kept Russell Wilson in because I was like, Fields is more of a dual threat than Russell is at this point. Aaron Jones, good on him. Probably go to the Broncos, maybe. Carlton Davis could be good. Could be good. I'd rather have Travarius Ward if I'm me. The Funga would be nice, but I don't think that he's gonna be available for us. Will Frice, that this could be interesting. He's been pretty good. Jenkins as well, but I'd probably say Frice. Very young, good guy. He could be someone we could put at left guard instead of number 65 for us. So I can't say his last name. That's why I'm saying that. But we need a guard. Sante Samuel Jr. No. Zeitler I'd freaking like back, but he's kind of older. So, I mean, he could be very cheap, which would be nice for us. Nope. Nope. No. Just trying to look at who some guys. He could be interesting. Brian Murphy Jr. for us. Um, but then again, there's that. Nick Bolton. Wow, really? I'd love for Nick Bolton to just not be a Chief. Well, Mike Hilton, no. Marquise Brown, no. Brandon Browning, no. Becton, he could be someone that I'm pretty sure he's going to re-sign with the Eagles. But he's sneaky good. He's played amazing so far this season. Bobby Wagner, that'd be cool. That'd be cool if we got Bobby Wagner and Roquan together. That'd be nice. But Chase Young was another one I wanted. Blaise Campbell I wanted. Some of these are just tough. I've heard Trayvon Morig here a couple times with us. He would be good. It's just tough because I don't know what we're looking for. You know, for us, we need one more receiver to just pair with Bateman and Flowers. We need another cornerback. We need a safety. The main reason I say a safety is because then you can free flow what we do with Hamilton a little more. You could run a little more sets where Hamilton doesn't have to play deep safety and he can play the linebacker position because we had Marcus Williams and we had Geno Smith. So those are huge keys for us there. And then we need an edge rusher, and then on offense, we just need a guard. So, a couple little items here. So, getting a safety would be nice. Brandon Sheriff would be really good. Zach Martin, I don't think is going to go anywhere. He's going to be huge money. Don't need you anymore. We got better. Fowler Jr. is okay. I don't really want him back. It's not my style. Stephon Gilmore's a little old. Levante David, God, he's such a good player. I'd love to have him on my team, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to. Judon would be good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we want. So there was a thing recently too where they talked about this is interesting. Um we don't need a tackle. Sorry, I'm looking at this. So wide receiver, edge rusher, cornerback, that seems about right. Um so I do think that we don't need a tackle, obviously. I have to look at corners, but I don't really think we need a corner. I don't think we need a safety. I think for us, I want to just mock draft. I just want to see where we're at, so to speak. All these are because their records like way before. So yeah, these haven't been done for a while. But as a Raven, there was a trade going by on Tyreek Hill for a second round pick. I don't want Tyreek Hill. People may be saying, "Well, Tyler, why not? Like he's great." He is great, but he's not needed. I don't need a guy flying past. I got Zay Flowers that can do that, and he's a lot cheaper and he's a lot better. So have that. Um, we need young and developing guys. We have a team to where Lamar Jackson is still very young, where he can still take care of business. Um, so yeah, I think that it is tough there. So some cap casualties. I think Mark Andrews will restructure his contract. I don't think that it's going to be a whole thing of where they're going to let him go. Even based on his performance, like if we're basing his performance just off the divisional round, obviously, but if you look throughout the season, he has played remarkable. So there's that. The release of Derrick Henry, my ass. Like I'm going to release Derrick Henry. No, we'll probably just restructure Henry a little bit, give him an extension, and kind of go from there. But Henry's Raven. Henry's that dude. So um, go out and win there. Pat Ricard needs to come back. Washington needs to come back. You do not need to come back. Yeah, we'll see about Stanley because, like, I love Stanley, but like, if he's going to be asking for a lot of money, like, we can't really give you that. I think if he comes back for less, that'd be nice. It's just because, you know, there's some guys out there we need to get. I don't really want to be spending money on a corner or a safety that is a rookie, so to speak. But yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll talk about this more next week because it is something that will be continued to be said more. But let's go on to the previews for the AFC and NFC championship game. So we got the Commanders and the Eagles. I think the Eagles will take care of business here, and I'm really hoping that the Bills will take care of business against the Chiefs, but it may be looking like a rematch of the Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Chiefs. In that case, I don't care who freaking wins. I'd rather the Eagles win, but both teams are not the best team yet. To me, if the Eagles or the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, in my head I'm putting an asterisk. They just weren't the best teams. You hit the correct strides to get to where you were, but you didn't go through the belly of the beasts. And yes, to be said, the belly of the beasts had one bad game. Detroit Lions had a bad game. The Ravens had a bad game. So you had to go through the second option. Eagles went and got a little easier than the Chiefs did. So, and if the Eagles lose, or the Chiefs lose, like that's how it goes. But I'm really hoping that, you know, if we're talking what we want from the Super Bowl, I want the Bills Commanders. Whoever wins, awesome. Good on them. If it's the Bills Eagles, Bills. If it's the Chiefs, anybody, the other team. Because the Chiefs do not deserve to win at all. You can tell me I'm a hater, you can tell me all this. I have been watching football longer than most. I try to stay as objective as possible, but how I used to play the game, I don't play like a sissy. I don't play it to flop. I don't play it to get calls. I play it to go and go 100%. I played it how Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, all those big name guys used to play and hit. Nowadays, it's cookie cutter, soft. Let's just watch the offense dazzle around because it'll make us money. What I hate how the NFL has become so money hungry. That's why the Chiefs are even here in the first place. Because the Chiefs would have been a first round exit, but they can't do that because they generate so much money. Because every time the game's played in Kansas City, guess what? Taylor Swift's going to be there. Let's cash in. So for me, it's very annoying. It hurts the reputation of the game, but it is what it is. If you want to script it to where the Chiefs win, go for it. The Chiefs will never be the best team. They will never have the GOAT. Travis Kelsey is below Gronk. Mahomes is below Brady because they played the game right and they beat the best teams. They didn't have to rely on the refs. They went out and brought it. And when they lost big. They've lost 3 times in the Super Bowl. Mahomes has lost once. They should be losing a little more. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But my picks are Eagles and Bills. I'm rooting for the Commanders and the Bills, but that probably won't happen. So I'll just leave it at that. Really not looking forward to watching any of these games because I know the outcomes and it sucks. So I don't want the outcomes that are there, but it is what it is. Um, and it will kind of put a cementing portion on what happens on the Super Bowl. Because if it's the Chiefs and the Eagles, I'm not watching it for the game. I'm watching it for the commercials and for the family camaraderie and being able to hang out, watch the Super Bowl. But I'm not too excited to watch the Chiefs and the Eagles because both teams, I don't know. The Eagles, it's a little more fine because Barkley deserves it, but Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. I said it at the start of the season, you need to say it. And watching the Chiefs just makes it harder because it's like I didn't know how soft you could be until I watched their team. And Travis Kelsey plays it off like he's a tough guy, and it's like, dude, you're not. You're really not. You talk crap, but you only talk crap when you're winning. You never talk crap when you're losing. Because you're never losing because you know that you have structure. You take away Andy Reid, you guys are back to being the low life Chiefs that you were. Even with Travis Kelsey and Mahomes. They can't do it without Reid. And you may be saying, well, they said the same thing about Brady. A little different because Brady went and proved it. Those two can't. They're past their prime. So, but we'll see how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week's episode. I know it was a little wonky. It is tough when the Ravens exit because then, my material for the Ravens kind of gets a little bit shot. But as the clock winds down, another great episode. I want to thank you guys all for listening. Podcast be live on Wednesday, episodes every week. Make sure to post something on my Instagram page to let you know the episode's up. Now for the Ravens segment, I'm going to talk about what we need to be doing for the offseason training, expectations for next year, starting to go through some stuff. So we will see on that. I'm going to try to diversify a little more into Ravens, and then some a little bit of Broncos because I do have a lot of Bronco listeners that are wanting to have me speak on what the team should do, what we should be looking for, some free agents, stuff like that. So I'm gonna kind of blend it for my wife and for a couple other Bronco people listening. It's still gonna be heavily favored towards the Ravens, but since I'm not really to the point in the NFL where people are gonna be really caring what happens going forward. Gonna kind of add some different segments and go from there. But, make sure to like and subscribe, whatever platform you prefer. Again, if you want me to talk about specific teams or have any questions, feel free to comment it in the chat, and I will make sure to answer it in the comments or bring it up in my next episode if it's really good. Also, all the music and sound is provided by my brother-in-law, Justin. So, Justin, thank you for that. Well, Ravens Nation, thanks for joining me on this episode. Until next time, stay fierce, stay loyal, and keep rooting for that purple and black. I will see you next time on The Ravens Call.